Hey guys, what's up? This is going to be my 5.5 patch note rundown. I'm going to talk about all the biggest patch note changes and how they're going to affect our metagame. First off, we're going to start with Bard, but he's actually not going to be released yet, so we're just going to go ahead and skip him completely. Moving on to the next champion is going to be Azir. So Azir is getting some slight changes here. I don't know if these are going to be enough. He's getting a base attack speed change, a very slight one, just like 0.025, which is like really slow. If you guys don't know, the attack speed actually scales, or CDR actually scales with attack speed too. So anything like that just helps him and helps his soldiers attack. But again, I think this is kind of like so small that it's pretty wow, I can't say that word. Wow, I can't say it. Insignificant. There we go. Sort of got it. Anyways. Soldier attack range is actually getting buffed by 50. This is actually a pretty good change because they just totally murdered his soldier's attack range before, and I believe his win rate went down to like 39 or like 37%, which is just abysmal. But this is definitely a good change in the right direction to getting Azir back to being viable. But the spear path-through range went from 100 to 50. They said the total is unchanged, which I don't really like. I don't really. It's like they changed it, but they didn't, because the spears apparently can't go as far. So the actual range of the soldier's attack, or the pass-through range, has been cut down. So basically, it's kind of like it's changing it, but it's not really. So again, it's a step in the right direction, but I kind of feel Azir might need another 1-2 of these small minor buffs to actually get back into being viable, because where he is right now is just really horrible. And I know Riot was having a difficult time balancing him because he has got all these different mechanics, and he can fly around, he can throw soldiers around, but I definitely think they nerfed him far too hard, and I think it's going to take another patch or two of buffs similar to these, actually probably a little bit better than these buffs, because I don't think these are very good, to actually get him back to being a viable mage again. Gangplank is just getting a weird bug fixed. His passive Grog-soaked blade is just getting changed. Whatever, bug fixes are bug fixes. Who really cares, right? Gragas, people are all super happy about this mana change. He's getting 300 mana base to 400. It's a whole 100 mana increase, which is actually pretty substantial buff. People are thinking you can play him support. I could try it out and we'll see. I can get back to you guys on that. But definitely I think Gragas jungle is going to be doing a lot better. Especially because his W is getting a damage cap increased. That's more so for later game anyways. But this mana increase is going to help him have a lot more I'll even say sustainability, because his W helps him heal and then gets more tanky. Actually, I don't even think it does help him heal anymore. I think it just makes him more tanky now. But either way, he'll be able to spam more spells and put out more damage and put out more just everything because of this mana change. So you might not think it's that much, but this is actually a pretty substantial buff, I'd say. Karma, fixed a bug. Who cares? Karthus, fixed a bug. Who cares? Kassadin. Alright, so just like Azir, this guy got the axe, man. He got the complete axe treatment. Riot's like, we don't know how to balance him. Just murder him. Just murder him. Make his Rift Walk a Rift Step, and they did do that, because they nerfed the range all the way down to 450 from, I believe, 750, which was just a massive nerf, right? But they're trying to bring him back. Trying to do a little justice to Kassadin, because it's no fair to a champion to just be completely ruined and taken out of the game just because you can't figure out how to balance him. So the cooldown is going from 7 seconds to 6 seconds, 5 to 4, and 3 to 2. So you get a 1 second buffer on that, which is nice. You can spam it a little bit more quickly, and the range is going to 500 from 450. Again, small little buff. And the mana cost is going down to 50. So these are nice little changes. They might. This is a very skeptical might when I say this. These might be enough to push him back into being somewhat viable, but I don't believe so. I feel just like Azir, he's gonna need another little baby buff. He's gonna need something else to push him back into being viable. But from my understanding, I don't think Riot really likes the champion the way he is right now. I feel like they feel they have an issue balancing him because he has the, especially really short cooldown gap closer now, and it's just, he's just going to need something else. I honestly think he just might need a little bit more range increase. And you know what? I personally thought if they just removed the damage from Kassadin or hurt the damage on his Riftwalk and kept the utility of it, he probably would have been okay. But that's just what I would have done. But again, I just don't feel like these are going to be, or are most likely going to be enough for him to become viable again. Lissandra. Lissandra is getting a very, very, very small nerf to her Ice Shard, her Q. So it's going from 75 to 70, and at max rank it's going from 215 to 190. So 15 damage late game, 5 damage early game. This is a nice little baby nerf because she's been quite strong lately. Her engage is crazy. She's got a lot of utility. She's got a lot of survivability. Combined with the CC she brings, she's just an overall really strong champion from the mid lane or top currently. And this is going to help her cut down on her early game strength in lane, which is good. I believe this is a good change. It might need another little tiny baby nerf somewhere. I don't know where, but this might be enough. But again, it's so incredibly small that it might not really change her placement in the meta currently. And it's not bad that she's a good champion, but it's bad when she's being banned and picked in the majority of competitive and solo queue matches. Nautilus, my boy Not's getting a little bit of buff, right? So Titan's Wrath is going. The base values are being nerfed by 10 at early rank and by 100 at later rank, and you're like, oh shit, that sucks, right? But the ratio on his early game is going from 7% to 9%, and at the max rank it's still 17%. So basically it goes from 9, 11, 13, from 7, 9.5, 12. So this early game you're going to have more, from your base HP, you're going to be having more tankiness because of that. Actually no, is that damage or is that, what is this? I gotta read it again. Break the shield and offer shifting power. Yeah, so basically it's going to be able to absorb more damage, which is good, which is very good. I like that very much. And it'll be able to basically just tank more and be more viable in the jungle, because his early game strength was really, he's just like all W. If you lose the W, you basically, it sucks. It sucks, man. And it's just no good. Riptide is going from 10 seconds to 7, scaling to 5, which is a huge CDR buff. Absolutely massive buff there in terms of the CDR. You'll be able to spam this literally twice as fast as you used to, and combined with CDR, you're actually going to be pumping out Riptides like it's his job. The mana cost is actually getting lowered very slightly by 20 at all ranks. The ability power is getting knocked down, but that's pretty. It's an okay change. I mean, like, you can cast it twice as much, and the ability power didn't even get cut in half, so that's fine. The slow duration is actually only being dropped down by 0.5 seconds, so Riptide is actually getting a massive buff here. This is going to allow Nautilus to kite more. This is going to allow Nautilus to stick on people a little bit better, because his E has to travel, right? It's like dung, 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 dung. It's not like an instant spell that sprays out and slows. So overall, I like these changes. I hopefully will see more Nautilus in the jungle. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about him. Nidalee, Bushwhack. Basically what they're doing is they're increasing the base ratio of this from 10 to 40 to 100 to 200, but they're taking out the percent of current health magic damage plus the 2 point. So they're just leaving an AP ratio on it, but they're taking out the percent damage. So champions with higher base value HPs and stuff like that won't be affected as hard. So she's going to be less of a tank killer because of that. Overall, I don't think this is really truly going to hurt Nidalee's viability like whatsoever. She's still going to be an incredibly strong champion. She's still going to have the incredible mobility. She's a crazy strong champion right now, and I don't think this nerf really stops her from doing what she does really well right now. I feel like they should most likely add a little bit of CDR to Nidalee because she's just got so much flow, right? You pop in, throw your spear, land it, jump, kitty form, you're in, you're out, heal, boom, 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 boom. I feel like they really need to like slow down her transition or slow down her just overall abilities because she's, like Jace and Elise, there are champions that have 6 abilities, technically 7 if you count the ultimate or the change factor, right? And if she can just rotate through all these abilities, really strong Nidalees can just still, do an amazing amount of damage, amazing amount of utility, all this great stuff. So I feel that's where she really needs to be stopped, and I don't think that this damage nerf is really going to be enough. So I'd like to see another baby nerf to her, another slight one, CDR, which I like to see preferably, or maybe even damage, but again, I don't think this changes her viability in the meta whatsoever. Rek'Sai, UI change, whatever. Shyvana, her Flame Breath is going from 2% maximum HP per auto attack to 2.5, so that's a 0.5% maximum health per auto attack increase. Combined with the new jungler item we'll talk about, she actually might be seeing, she might actually be a little bit better in the jungle now because of this. I have to try her out. I haven't played much PvE, but this is definitely a buff. I like Shyvana. I wish she would come back in the meta because she's a very fun champion to play, and hopefully this will be enough to get her there. Singed is getting a bug fix where the fling wasn't landing with mega adhesive to the snare. Cool. Bug fix, whatever. Decimating Smash. 45 mana at all ranks opposed to 45 scaling to 65, and the ratio is going to 0.65 from 0.6 to 1.95 from 0.8. So they want, right? It's like, hey, you want you guys to use Decimating Smash more. You want it to be more reliable in terms of the mana costs and doing damage, and they actually want to stop, it looks like, Roar of the Slayer for being spammed so much, because it's 35 at the first rank and now it's going to scale up to 55 just from 35. But in reality, that's not a crazy nerf. This is very small adjustment of his kit. I don't think it really changes anything. It's just kind of like a power swing slightly that they feel that they needed to make. I don't really play Sion too much, but these changes seem fine. I'm indifferent about these changes. I don't think this changes him really that much. I think we're going to see just as much Sion as we did before, and no less. But yeah, let's move on to Skarner. Skarner. So Skarner's getting this, like, the weirdest buff to his Q ever. So he's getting +2 damage. +2 damage on the bonus magic damage, and the regular damage, which is just like, hey, like 4 damage increase across the board, just 4 damage from level 1 up, which is cool. Like, sweet, buffs are buffs. You know what? I'll take them. But Fracture's magic damage is actually getting increased. 40 is still going to stay the same early game, but it's going to scale all the way up to 180. If you guys don't know what my stream has informed me of, because I'm not a Skarner player too much, the Fracture actually gets additional bonus damage based on his stacks. So this will actually be hitting much harder depending on your stacks, considering the base damage is up a full 60 at rank 5. So good, especially because Skarner isn't seen too much right now. I think we could see maybe another round of these very two damage buffs overall. But I think it's a step in the right direction for Skarner, most definitely. Sona is getting Power Chord, no longer consumed on hitting Blue Trinket Ward or Callista's Sentinel. So her Power Chord doesn't get blown on random wards anymore, apparently, which is cool. Crescendo is going from 100, 150 to 200 mana to actually 100 mana at all ranks. And I don't even think this needed to be changed. I feel like she's already kind of strong right now, especially like, everyone just buys the DJ Sona skin and it's like, man, Sona actually can like win a lot of lanes and do a lot of things still, and she's pretty good. So as a sustain mage and somebody who what am I looking for here? I don't know. I just don't really think she needed this. I guess it's just an overall making it so she can ulti. She doesn't have to have a large pool of mana, which is okay. I just don't think it needed to be changed, but I don't think it's a crazy change that will make her way more viable or not. So it's like a whatever change. It's just good for people who like to play Sona. Soraka fixed a bug. Who cares? I'm gonna say that all day. So Q rapid fire. So each basic attack against a target marked with explosive charge reduces the cooldown of rapid fire by 1 second. I actually really like this change. It's going to make it so every Tristana who actually gets their E on somebody and combos it with her rapid fire, it's gonna basically define the good Tristanas from the bad ones, because if you're hitting your marked targets, it's gonna help you just continuously keep that rapid fire up, continue to keep auto attacking, and I just like it. I think it's a cool synergy thing they added for Tristana, and I like that buff a lot. I think it's cool. I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's over the top. I just think it's a nice. I've seen my thumbs up here the entire time. I think it's just a nice change to make her have a little bit more flow. Trundle, my boy Trundle. So his passive is going from 1,000 range to 1,400, which is really cool because any unit, I don't know if you guys know, any unit around Trundle that dies, whether it be a friendly or foe, you gain a percentage of HP back because of that. So you're going to be able to stand farther back if you're getting zoned. You can still be healing up and standing around things and just being able to gain HP further. I like this change. I think it's a cool change. Another cool change I think is the healing amplification from 8 at the start is going to 20% at all ranks. So that's going to be cool too. So combined with this and his W, dropping that down, you can heal for just the utility of his healing and from his passive is just going to be more. Just easier to utilize, and especially HP pots and stuff like that. His early game sustain is actually going to be, I think, far higher, which is really cool. I like these changes. This is like the first change I think Trundle's ever had, because I think he's one of those champions like Jat's always like, Trundle's never been changed, and he spouts his facts when he casts. But I think these are pretty cool changes, and I'm glad to see them happening to Trundle because I'm a big fan. And also fixed a bug. This is a bug that actually matters. His ultimate was only stealing 36%, and now it's going to steal 40. They fixed it. Yes, I'm happy with that. That's the only bug change we're actually going to talk about. Overall, I think Trundle is just going to be a little bit better, which is good because I like that. Urgot. Now, people have been going off about this. They're like, oh my god, 8% mana on the W. And what this really means is this isn't going to totally change his early game, and I don't think this is going to make him really that great of an AD carry anyways. I really don't feel like Urgot is an AD carry. I feel like he's a better mid or top lane pick, which I commonly see him played. I think I've seen one Urgot as an AD carry and he got smoked, but as a mid laner and a top laner, more so top, I'd think, this 8% mana, when you get your mana immune, when you get your frozen heart and things like that, this is actually going to make you much more tanky as you scale into late game. So Urgot's going to be that range kind of armor piercing tank a little bit more, and I like this change. I don't think this is gonna shoot him into crazy viability, but this is definitely a big up for Urgot players if they're already good at the laning phase. This is definitely going to help them just be more Urgot-y and tanky. That's what I'll say. The R is actually getting taken down to 80 seconds at max rank. First rank staying the same. Second rank is getting 10 seconds, and then this is getting a whole 20 seconds off. Combine that with the CDR, you're actually going to be able to hyperkinetic position reverse people a lot. You're going to be able to use that pretty much any encounter you have now, because it's just going to be such a short cooldown with the already built-in CDR from Urgot's kit that he gets. So cool. Like the changes. Maybe we'll see more Urgot. Varus. Now this is a very baby minor change, but I really like it. His piercing arrow cooldown now begins at the start of the charge. So when you wind up, it's already started that internal cooldown on it, so you can actually spam more, which is really cool because I'm a big Varus fan, and I just think this is a good utility change, similar to a Tristana's change. I think it's just a very quality of life change that I like. And I got nothing bad to say about it. I don't think it's a crazy big buff. I don't think it's gonna, shoot him into viability like that. But I like the changes. They're just quality of life changes, and they're good. Veigar. Oh my god. Cue the music that just shaking my head at Riot for this one. Okay, so basically Riot says here, we nerfed him so hard we don't know what we're doing, and Baleful Strike is missile speed is going to 2,000%. or not 2,000%, 2,000 base, 14% faster. Um, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about Baleful Strike. Is when you combo, when you drop your little circle, and there's creeps in front of you, whether you're trying to harass in lane or something like that, it's not going to do anything still. It doesn't matter. This could be over 9,000% faster, you know what I mean? And it wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't change anything because his ability to harass when he stuns something is still not there because it's a line missile now. It needs to be a direct spell, right? 100% needs to change his back. I think they're totally just murdering this champion's kit for God knows what reason. And I don't think they could do anything to this except make it like disgustingly overpowered for it to be viable because it just doesn't flow with his kit whatsoever. And I'm just up in arms about this, and I can't wait for this to be changed. Again, even if it's 14% faster, I think this is still absolute shit design, and not a fan whatsoever. Anyways, we got another buff here. Event Horizons going from 0.75 to 0.05, and the wall particle display after cast is going on cast. So this is a little bit better. It's 0.25 seconds, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. I can try the changes out. Again, I think the issue is with the Q big time. Obviously, the E was his bread and butter, and that got nerfed. And Riot obviously doesn't want it to be instant, but I feel like it honestly should be like a 0.25. It should just be a small delay because it was already hard enough to hit. It was already easy enough to predict. I mean, you had to like hit people with a circle. Unless you were like a Veigar god, it was still not 100% reliable despite it being instant. So yeah, it's a buff. Will Veigar be good? No, he's gonna be shit still. Veigar's still gonna be horrible. Veigar's still gonna be an absolute champion you should just not play right now because I think his whole kit is beyond screwed up right now. So you can tell I'm obviously passionate about that champion and I'm upset with Riot about it, but yeah, I don't think those changes are gonna be enough at all. Vi. Movement speed down and our R damage at early games and mid ranks. So movement speed is good because Vi's already such a great gap closing champion despite her being a melee champion in which they have usually pretty high movement speeds to, you know, obviously compensate for the range champions who have range. But I feel like her movement speed could honestly be dropped down to like 340. She's already got enough gap closure. She's already fast enough. She already covers enough ground that I don't feel that she needs to be that fast, especially when she has her Q and her R that are just massive gap closing abilities. The physical damage being dropped down actually at 50 damage here, 25 here and there. This is gonna stop her from being that crazy burst snowballer bruiser champion. This is a decent enough amount of damage. I'm actually okay with this nerf, and I actually think these overall nerfs are pretty good to her. They're gonna I don't think it's going to change her in the meta too much, though. I think she's still going to be a viable champion. Viable, yeah. I still think she's going to be played in the meta. I just don't think she's going to have that like super strong impact. So it's like she went from like S tier to like tier 1, I feel like, with these changes. That's how I feel about these changes. In fact, she's probably floating in between because she's still pretty good champion right now. Yeah, those are some decent nerfs. I like them. Viktor got a bug fixed with his Death Ray. And Volibear, Frenzy, refunds half the cooldown if used on a monster. Oh, so this is actually pretty cool. So this is going to make him in the jungle move much quicker, and his clear speed is going to be a lot better. Combined with his other jungler items we're going to see later, he actually might be able to be a much more viable tanky jungler because of this. If this is refunding half the cooldown, his clear speed is going to be that much quicker because this is a Frenzy, I believe, is the percent damage nuke essentially on targets. So that's a pretty cool change. I like that, and we'll have to see how it plays out. I like it. It's cool. Get some more junglers viable out there, right? I like it. Speaking of that, Zhao is getting a very slight buff to his W and his E. Battlecry, you're gonna get his base heal. This is his base heal is gonna go from 26 to 30. It's only 4, but it's just an early game scaling, giving him a little bit more sustain. And that's, you know, baby buffs. I'm always good with baby buffs. Audacious Charge is going from 70 to 70, but late game it's getting a 20 damage buff. So it's very, very small buffs. These might be enough, but I still don't think Zhao's that great as a jungler. I still kind of feel like he just doesn't get tanky enough. I know he's supposed to be like a bruiser, like mid range. Like he's not supposed to be crazy tanky. He's supposed to be like this good tank and damage dealer. But I don't feel like I feel like you need another round of these buffs to really be up to par with your Lee-Sin, your Vise, and all these other junglers that are out there right now. So yeah, step in the right direction, but I don't feel it's enough. Zac is now getting a change to his unstable matter. Picking up a chunk will now briefly give Zac a reservoir of CDR, even if he casts W within 1 second of the following pickup chunk pickup. So what that means is, or at least how I understand it is, even if you're casting W, that CDR that's going to be affected with your W is going to roll over. So even if you casted a W, that CDR from picking up the blob will just restart it and make your W up that much quicker. That's how I perceive it. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that's how it's going to work, which is actually cool. That's going to be able to make him able to spam his W more, which is going to in turn make him create more blobs. So I like it. I like it. It's a cool change. And his Elastic Slingshot is getting 0.5 second buff, going from 0.5 to 1 second. These are good Zac buffs. I like them. I like them a lot. This is actually going to help him out in the jungle too, similar to the Volibear buff. We might actually see the return of all these tank junglers from Nautilus, Zac, Volibear. Sejuani's already going to be crazy strong, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. These are cool buffs, and I like it. I like how tanks are coming back. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I like them buffs. Zilean cooldown. His time bomb Zilean right now is actually I've only seen one person play it, was Jaximus, and he did crazy good with him. But I think these changes, 2 seconds off the time cooldown is definitely going to help out his laning phase. It's definitely going to help him wombo combo a little bit quicker. It's still going to be 8 seconds at max rank, but the early changes are going to allow him to use these bombs more effectively in the laning phase and the early to mid-game team fights, which I'm cool with. I like them. I'm not sure how much is going to affect him overall. I think it's going to be, it's just a very, very minor change, but sometimes that's enough to shoot somebody up. Yeah, I like it. Not much to say about that. Some texture changes. Woo! On to items. Items now. Alright. Our new 120 ability power item is back. So basically, Luden's Echo is, from my understanding, the static Shiv version of an AP item. It gives you movement speed, it gives you that 100 charges from moving around or attacking, and it's going to actually deal damage to multiple targets. And I'm not sure how crazy this is going to be. I think it'll be good on a handful of champions. We'll have to see how it's taken and if it's going to be affected in competitive player and how people utilize this on each champion. I think it's a cool idea for an item, and I can't wait to actually try it out. I think it's pretty cool, and that's all I really got to say in it right now because I don't have too much experience playing with it. Sweeping Lens Tier 2 Red Trinket is going from 60 seconds to 75 seconds. This is good because I feel like everyone's just spamming this. I feel like it's really easy to control areas if you have your trinkets up or if you upgrade them sooner. So this is going to allow players or teams that are slightly behind to not be so restricted in vision, as a team with them won't be able to control areas as much. Granted, it's only 15 seconds, but that's a lot. If Dragon's up, in 1 minute and you need to clear it, and your trinket's up in a minute and 15 seconds, it's obviously going to be a lot easier or a lot harder to control that area. Jungler items, here we go. Bambi's Cinder. So this is like a new Sunfire version of a jungler item. It's going to be starting off with Ruby Crystal plus 600 gold, 1000 gold to have it. Gives you 300 HP, and it gives you that Immolate passive just like Sunfire does. 5 damage plus 1 per champion level, which is only 23 damage. But there is a upgraded version, the Cinder Hulk enchantment now. So this is the big boy enchantment for these tanks. So you have all these tank buffs that are coming through, plus this item. I really feel that tanky junglers are just going to be shot right back into the meta. Or at least I'm hoping that happens, because I would just love to see some diversity in the jungle. So grants a passive 25 bonus % HP of your current health. That's crazy. That's so much extra health. All these tanks are going to be, massive. Combine that with a Warmogs or something like that, and you're going to have, a stupid amount of HP. Really cool. And the emulate damage is actually going to be increased quite substantially, and increases with time you spend in combat. So it starts off with 16 plus 1 per level, scaling all the way up to 24 plus 1.5 per champion level, which roughly translates to like 51 or 52 damage a second, which is pretty cool. I like that. Overall, I think this is a great item. I think it's a great step in the right direction. I actually probably feel like it would probably get nerfed if tanky junglers are going to be as strong as I think they are. But we'll have to see how it plays out. Again, I like the step that Riot's heading with this, and yeah, pretty cool item overall. Sunfire basically just says they don't stack. You can't do a Sunfire plus a Cinderhulk, and they're changing the recipe just slightly. You're gonna get the Bammies. Cinder is now part of the recipe, and that's the only big change about that. So strategic itemization. Now Raptor's Cloak is now going from 30 to 40 armor, and now has a Point Runner unique passive. You gain movement speed when near fallen turrets, which is really, really unique passive, and it'll be most likely hard to utilize. But if you're sieging and you've been pushing up and there's a fallen turret, I guess you'll be able to run away quicker, which is actually a pretty cool thing. Or yeah, I mean, it's just going to be really unique. I can just say that word like 3 more times. Unique. That's really what it's going to be. Unique and situational for that. So ZZ Portal is actually getting a pretty substantial buff here. Armor is going from 50 to 60. Magic resist going from 50 to 60. So base MR and armor values are actually pretty good here. And the unique Point Runner movement speed gain near towers is also being applied to ZZ Portal. But the big thing here is Void Spawn base damage against structures is going from 50 to 100, it's getting doubled. Void Spawn base damage against non-structures going from 20 to 50, getting more than doubled. Void Spawn time until they begin to decay is going from 4 seconds to 5.5. The acquisition range against inhibitors is 300 to 350, another 50 range on that, and Void Spawn acquisition range against Nexus is 300 to 450. So this is a really big pile of buffs. It seems like Riot would love for this item to be used as a said strategic play, or strategic items right there. So we're probably going to actually see this item be used quite a bit more if all these buffs are coming through, and that's going to be happening. You're going to see your top laners, maybe like Nasus's, or even some of your tanky junglers, or actually anybody who can spare the gold to get it. It might be really good for siege comps, and it'll just be great for pushing other lanes. I really like these changes, and I'm glad Riot's trying to change up the item diversity to change the game in a positive way. I like it. Omewrecker is also getting the unique Point Runner passive. Pretty cool. Righteous Glory is actually going from 500 to 650, getting a 100 HP bonus. This is actually a pretty okay item already, and they're adding another 150 HP to it, which is, again, I mean, tanks are just getting, like, holy crap, are they getting buffed. Really cool item change here. Again, I like it. I like the fact that they're loving tanks, and I think the item will be a little bit more viable. Banner Command, they just trolls. Look, unchanged. This is the most troll shit ever. Unchanged. We just wanted to talk about Banner Command, man. Alright, cool. Banner of Command. Woo! Inhibitor turrets. This is actually a pretty big change here. So we got some Global Summoner's Rift changes. So basically what's going to happen here is the global gold on an inhibitor turret is going from 175 to 50. So all the exterior towers are still going to be giving you that gold, and they're still going to be giving you that global gold. But these are going to are not global gold, but actually global team gold. Yeah, they're going to be giving you only 50, right? So that's a huge knockdown. And they say in here that they want to do that because taking the Nexus inhibitor turrets, or not Nexus, the inhibitor turrets are supposed to be a strategic thing. They're not supposed to be giving you this experience and gold. They don't want that, which actually I'm okay with, because that's going to prevent teams from snowballing like out of control. If you like get 3 turrets taken in a row, it's like, holy crap, that's like crazy amount of gold that you get for your team and everybody, and so they're slowing that down. They're slowing down the pace of just, you know, absolutely getting wrecked and taking down all your turrets, which is cool. I like that. Nexus turrets are getting the exact same treatment pretty much, going from 150 to 50, and there's not going to be any more experience, just like the inhibitor turret. So both of those are going to be, again, strategic towers to take and not so much team beneficial towers to take. And how that changes the game, as I said, is just gonna slow it down a little bit, and that's pretty much it. It's just going to slow the game down a little bit when it comes to actually ending the base and killing the Nexus, which I'm okay with. I like that. Shield turrets, inner turrets now actually getting a pretty big change. And look, get poked. Middle lane inner turret no longer shields nearby champions. So going mid lane is going to be your best bet. The first tower you always want to take if you're up, if you have a poke comp, if you have anything, is obviously going to be the mid tower, because middle lane inner turrets no longer shield champions. That's actually huge. So the top and bottom ones are still going to be doing that. They're still going to be a lot harder to take, but going up the middle and taking that middle inhibitor is going to be your absolute best bet now as a team trying to siege or just push anything. So mid lane is the lane to push absolutely now. And top and bottom lane turrets, shield health. So this is the shield on the actual turret, not the champions. I went over that before and got clarified. It's going from 200 to 30. So basically they want it to not be so like, they don't want the refresh rate. They don't want you to be able to like siege a little bit and then go, oh, you only got this much damage on now. You know, you have to go through another 200 HP before you can actually start damaging it. It's only going to be 30, so it's only going to be a couple auto attacks before you break that shield, well, not even, and actually start dealing damage to the tower. But the HP on it, the tower itself, is getting buffed by 300. So the turret itself is going to be more tanky, but the refresh rate on the shield and the what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of the annoyance of having to go through the shield over and over again if you don't have consistent siege power is going to be gone, and it's going to be more consistent to take those things down. Which again, I'm actually kind of okay with. It was kind of annoying. So they're actually allowing you to take the outer turrets a little bit faster and the mid lane a lot faster here. And actually minion health here. So minion health is actually getting buffed only by 3 at 9 minutes, an additional 3 every minute and a half after, and that's going to go for caster, melee, and siege minions. And basically what that means is minions are going to have more oomph. They're going to do more. They're going to be able to tank more. They're not going to be able to be cleared as quickly, all because of those HP changes. And that's what it says right here. They just don't want minions to be cleared that quickly. So if you actually freeze a wave, you build a huge wave, and you actually push up, excuse me, especially with something like a ZZ Rot Portal, you're going to be able to siege and do a lot of damage and take a lot of objectives because of this. So actually Riot's been changing up the game quite a bit when it comes to just overall map objectives and the state of the game right here. And I don't know, we'll have to see how it plays out. I don't know if sieging and grouping are just going to be like the new thing. We'll have to see. But overall, I actually kind of like these changes, and I'm glad Riot's putting their foot forward to make them. Jungle camps are getting actually their damage reduced, so it's going to be easier to take them as you're going to have more sustain in the jungle. You're not going to take as much damage, so this actually opens up, like, you might not think this is much, but because of these changes, because the damage isn't going to be as much from these jungle camps, what that means is champions that don't have as much sustain or are a little bit more squishy are actually going to be more viable in the jungle because they'll be able to go through without taking as much damage, which is cool. We might actually see more junglers be viable because of this, and the already buffed tank junglers are definitely going to have a much easier time going through the jungle. And they're actually giving Big Wolf and Small Wolf a slight gold increase, 5 on the big one and 2 on the small wolf. So very, very small buffs to those in terms of your gold gain, which I'm okay with. I like gold, and I think everybody else does too. So Gromp buffs. This is actually a huge one. People have been going off about this. They think Rammus is just going to be this insane tank with Thornmail in this. So Gromp Poison is going from 4 rather to 10 damage base and 8 to 10% of your bonus health. opposed to 8 times plus level. So that means if you get that Cinder Hulk and you get that Warmogs and you get that Thornmail and you got that Gromp buff, like you're just gonna do some stupid amount of return damage, like absolute stupid amount of return damage. That's why people are saying like, oh my god, Rammus's return damage is gonna be like, my mind is blown at the return damage. So this is actually pretty cool change, and we're gonna see tanks. Like tanks just got so much love this patch. You're gonna see actually, I think, Gromp be fought over more for junglers that are tanky. I think this makes him a much more sought after buff, especially going into mid and late game, and especially before any fight, because you can have multiple stacks of smite now. So maybe after Dragon, that Gromp buff actually might be something that's worth contesting now if you're a tanky jungler, which I think is pretty cool. I like the change. I like to see that jungle diversity, and I like to see them adding a little bit more objectives to it. I like the change. Rift Scuttle boost speed. That means your everything from Tibbers to Voidlings, even clones of Shaco, are also going to receive that movement speed buff now, opposed to just the champions getting, which is cool. I like that. It makes it so you obviously can't see clone. Makes it so Tibbers can keep up with you, all that kind of stuff. I like it. All those champions that have additional units that play with them, I like that buff. It's cool, it's small, but it's good. Dragon buff counter for spectating. Counts buffs, not kills. Also grows when a team hits 5 stacks. Very exciting. Very exciting. It now exists. It's now a thing. Right, with their trolly ass definitions here. Visual rebalance, they're just doing some updates here at the end of the Summoners Rift beta. They're 100% happy with this map now. They're saying, you know what, this beta's over. This map's good to go, baby. We're good. And victory and defeat banners are image to animated. Ooh, much fancy. This is actually going to be pretty much it. There's Elderwood Bard, Headhunter Akali, and Special Agent Zhao coming out as well. This is actually going to be the conclusion of my patch note 5.5 changes and what I think about them. I hope you guys enjoyed them. I'm sorry for stuttering my ass off on the first couple champions, but yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and that's about it. See you guys later. Peace.